My last project was 4 years long. Same world, same characters, so believe me when I say, when I'm doing this new mega project, I'm going really big with it. The reason why I want to do this is because I want to improve my art skills even more. I feel like recently I've had my learning curve kind of stoop lower just because I've been doing the same things for years on end, and I really want to go above and beyond in my art and in my life as well. And so making this drastic change is really helping me connect to what I want from myself and what I want to portray to you. If you want to skip to where I start the artwork, you can skip to this time frame, but let me give you a reasoning behind where I want to start this new project and where I want to take it throughout the next couple years. When I first started my last mega project, what happened was I was learning digital art for the first time. And so now that I've got my digital learning skills, now I can start to go full on with the artwork I produce and consistently bring it to the same level. Hopefully even better. So the things I want to work on are lighting. That's one of the biggest ones. I also want to ground myself into more of a real environment instead of going like really fancy with it. Another thing is really going all out with the outfit designs. I really want to take my art to the next level with material rendering. I'll be trying to combine all of these elements into one big project, and so I've got the perfect thing in mind. Let's get to it.
Okay, so if you know anything about me, you know that my sketches are really, really ugly. When I'm working on things, I tend to try and look at the big picture. And so when I'm looking at the big picture, I'm just thinking of like some ideas I have in mind, especially like I want to sell the mood of the overall piece. And so the actual character itself shouldn't have that much of an impact. Another important thing to note is that while I'm starting my mega project, I still have none of the characters figured out. I have none of the environments figured out, or like the outfits, the overall pieces, etc., etc. And so when I'm making this is literally my first attempt at making my new world. So keep that in mind. Okay, everything you see is going to be a work in progress. In the art industry, what you tend to have is something called visual development. And this is exactly what I'm doing with my personal pieces as well. I'm trying my best to just not focus on a final illustration and more focus on the mood I want to sell to the viewer. Especially since this is something that I want your opinion on and see if you like this kind of style. I'd love to know it in the comments. So if ever you have any suggestions of where I should take my new project and like the direction I should go for, please do comment down below. I'd love to hear some of your suggestions. Maybe I won't take them into account, or maybe I will. It really depends. Another thing I'm missing is also the character's name. So we'll just call her MC for now. But let me tell you a little bit about MC. This woman is the newly promoted detective for the best crime-fighting unit in the entire world. The night she hears news of her promotion, a coincidental horror suddenly befalls her life. The murderer who killed her best friend suddenly strikes again after 3 years. But why 3 years? And is it the same murderer? Same cause of death? Same killing spree? And some odd disappearance? And guess who has to work on the case tomorrow morning during her first day? That's right, it's MC. Anyways, that's all I'm giving away from her story. But you should know that going throughout the story, it's going to be more than just her character. I'm thinking of doing maybe like 5 to 6 different characters and have like the best detective squad in the location I'm setting it off of. And so I'm hoping to get those 5 character designs figured out soon and start to show you some of the final pieces I make for my visual development arc in this project and show them on YouTube. The genres I'm hoping to explore are loosely inspired by the 1980s, detective noir, revenge, and found family. Maybe that gives you a clue to where I'm going as the style, but as I move throughout the story in the many years to come, there will be an answer to who is behind these murders. the MC is going to be feeling very complicated subjects. And as she navigates her past life and her now new job, those feelings will emerge and complicate things even more. I'm also really hoping to make my characters more dynamic and have really funny and quirky different interactions with themselves and see how they function as like a new family. It's something that I think I lacked from my last project. Even though I had many characters interact with each other, they kind of interacted more as like pairs instead of as an overall group. And so I'm really hoping to fix that with my new project. So as with all my finished illustrations, or in this case, the concept I'm making up, I'm always thinking of different basic compositions, and I decided to go with this one, so that's the one I'm showing you with this time lapse. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'm thinking about when I'm making the progress. It's just where I want the light to be, where I want the focus to be, and a lot of the time I'll try to have some leading lines going to the focal point. In this case, it's a newspaper, as I've already said. And yeah, if you want to read more of the overall lore of it, I'll have it in the finished illustration near the end of the video, and that way you can see more of what's written on the newspaper. But right now I'm just blocking in the basic shapes, but I'll go more dynamic with my lighting as the time lapse goes on. If you haven't started your own mega project or just like a small project, I hope this inspires you in a way, just trying to get some basic ideas. And even if it doesn't inspire you, maybe you found something that was helpful in this video, and just taking the time to relax and see what you enjoy making. Oftentimes when we're going throughout the years, we often forget what's important to us, and it's important to take a step back and just reevaluate our priorities. As with mine, I realized that my last project was kind of fading out of interest for me, and instead of pushing through, I just decided to start anew. And I think that really helped me get out of my slump as an artist. I don't often get slumps, and I don't think I've ever had this kind of burnout before. Not that I would say that I'm particularly like in a burnout state right now, but creatively, I think I was just not enjoying drawing as much as I did when I first started my mega project from the last time. And so what better way to get out of that slump by just starting a new project. I'm really excited to draw one of the characters that you haven't seen yet. She's really fun. She has like red hair, and I'm really excited to show them all to you, all of the group. But you'll just have to wait until the next episode. Also, quick note, if ever you wanted to just drop a little comment telling me what your project is about and what kind of stuff you do, I'd love to know and really interact with my community. I think that's a really important part of why I do YouTube. It's just I want to know what you're all up to. And sometimes I forget that when I'm behind the camera or just drawing, and I have to remember that everyone here has their own story, and so I'd love to hear yours. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Nicholas Vio. I'm a professional artist, and I do this as a living. I often make my own projects, but behind the scenes, I'm working on professional contracts I have. I'm an art teacher, and I make my own, I have my own company. And so if ever you're interested in like taking your art career one step further, maybe you're having a hard time starting up your income, or you just haven't found the most success in applying to jobs or maybe an art school, I'll have my stuff linked down below, but you can definitely book a session with me if you're interested. No pressure, but yeah, if you really want to level up your skills or your income, it's definitely a great way to just try it out, see if you like it, and if ever you don't like it after one session, you can always stop. But yeah, check it out. It's going to be in the link in the bio. But let's go back to talking about this little piece. I'd say this was a pretty challenging piece, especially since it's the first from this project. I don't really know where I want to take it yet, even though I have my genres defined, which is like detective noir, murder mystery, kind of like 1980s vibe. I still am not sure about many things, and so I think it's really important just to take a step back and just start some concepts and just know that they're not going to be final. For example, this piece, again, it's just a visual development piece. I'm sure that the character you're seeing now will completely change by the end, either by hairstyle, face, outfit she's wearing, lore, could be a bunch of different things. And it's just nice to put it out there and see what sticks. For example, when I see some people commenting and leaving stuff like, oh, I love her hair or I love her earrings, then I know I'm maybe going towards the right steps, taking the right track towards a finished product, and always having that reassurance, or like that, not that reassurance, but more of the commentary behind what people enjoy seeing is always a good step forward of knowing you're on the right track. I also really enjoyed making this episode. While I'm just talking to the camera, even though you don't see my face right now, I think it's really important just to adventure off into different topics, because oftentimes I find that my videos are just about like art skills and how to refine them. And if you like this kind of art video and you want to see more of like how I do my own things instead of how you can apply it to your own life, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see if this is something you want more, or if you want me to just stick around into the like art skill kind of YouTube vibe. Yeah, let me know. With that being said, this is a new YouTube channel, and so when I'm making these videos, I'm always looking to improve, to make a better product for you all. And so if you have any tips in the comments of if you like more of a relaxed style like this video, or if you like my more fast-paced videos like the ones I have on my channel, I'm always open to feedback and seeing what works best for you all and what you prefer to see. So as I finish rambling, I'll just let this time lapse play out, and that way you can see the final product. If you want to, you can also skip to the end of the video and see how it all turns out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Lastly, I just want to thank you all for watching this video until the end. If you really liked it, consider subscribing and maybe taking the time to just press that like button. Again, thank you. If you like more of my videos, you can check out this one. See you next time.